Hello my friends, welcome to another exciting episode in our Photoshop design series. In this video I'm going to show you how to create this flyer in Photoshop. Right? Simple and easy steps. But before we get started, if you've not subscribed to my channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on post notification. And don't forget to like the video also. Of course, I'll be giving out a free PSD file like this particular file for 5 persons that will get the code inside of this video. So be sure to watch the video till the end and drop the code in the comment section or drop it in the Telegram group. Right, so without further ado, let's get started. The first thing, click file, and we're just going to make some minor settings here. I'm just going to change this to social media flyer like this, and I'm going to leave the weight 5x5, resolution stays at 300 RGB, and everything else stays the same. So click on create like this. Okay, so let's get started with things. Today we're doing something different, and we'll be exploring different effects. But first and foremost, I'm going to set my background. So this is the color code. You can copy this. Right, so I'm just going to select this background and bring this down here. This is the first background I'll be using. So the first one I selected was the lighting. So this is the background. So go to solid color and click on this. This is the color code here. Right. Good. So this is the color code. So you can feel free to copy this. Right. So click OK like this. Nice. Okay. So let's move on to the next phase. So go over to resource file. Like I said, resource file is in the description of this video. Right, so I'm just going to drag and drop this nice image of this happy dude looking happy, motivated, and I'm just going to increase it like this. Before I place it, put it in place, probably try and get the middle point. Like you can see, that's the midpoint. Great. Okay, so as you can see now, I have this large space of area when I click Ctrl T. So to get rid of that, right click on the image and convert it to smart object again. So when you press Ctrl T, you can see it's now moderate. You don't have that chunky selection around it. Right, so this is what I want to achieve. Right, so next thing I want to do is one of the most important things inside of this video. Right, so first and foremost, I want to get rid of those things on the edges. So right click on the thumbnail, hold down Ctrl and click on the thumbnail to make a selection like this. And what you want to do is go to select, hold down Shift while you click on select and mask to bring out this exact refined edge. So what you want to do here is move closer. If your cap locks is on, kindly turn it off so that your brush, before that, click on smart radius, and of course I said if your cap lock is on, kindly turn it off. So what you do is go around the edges like this to get rid of those little fringes. Like just click, what I'm just doing is just clicking on it like this, clicking, and you can make the brush smaller to make sure you get to the right places, the appropriate places. Come over here, remove the fringes. You can see I'm getting rid of it. The next thing you want to do is click on let's see, decontaminate colors. Then you can move the slider up like this, just like this. Copy my settings. You can see I don't have all of these things there. Then you can output to new layer with mask. Right, then click OK like this. Great. You can see I've just gotten rid of all those fringes around the hair region. So what you want to do is hold down Shift, select this one, and convert to smart object. So it's now one image again. Right, great. You can feel free to rewind and pause and play. That's how you actually learn. So go over to camera raw with the image still selected, and what you want to do now is make some adjustment here, major adjustments. I'm going to start with the highlights. I'm going to reduce it, not drastically. Copy my settings, please. And it depends on the nature of your image. Make sure you are not overdoing it. In case you need to use another image, make sure you're not doing too much, right? So what you want to do is reduce the blacks and click OK like this. All right, nicely done. So what you want to do again is convert it to smart object. Go back to camera raw again to add some extra, because you doing this depends on how your image is going to look at the end of the day, right? So go over to sharpen, add some sharpen under details, and when you're done, click OK, right? So this is the desired outcome that I actually had in mind, right? Okay, just trying to zoom close if there are some areas of imperfections that I missed. As a designer, you're supposed to pay attention to details. So what I want to do now is go over to my selection tool, and I'm just going to make selection of the dress like this. Now watch the position of my brush, make selection like this, make selection like this, and I'm just going to continue. You can see that the size of my brush is quite small. You can use your bracket key to reduce the size of the brush. This is the tool I'm using, quick selection, right? So I'm just going over to the edges, right? So when it goes outside, you can just hold down the Alt key when it flips to minus to bring it back inside, right? Selecting the shirt, right? First thing to do, you can see it has just made a perfect selection. The tool is quite intuitive, right? So you can just, in as much as you are focused on your selection, it will do a nice job of selecting the image you want to select, right? So I'm just going to go around this part here, and oops, it has gone out. So click on Alt on your keyboard to change to minus, and when it changes to minus, drag it back in, remove all these areas like this, remove this like this, right? Remove this part. You can see now, taking it back, right? So let me continue what I'm doing, and making the selection. If it goes out, hold down the Alt key when it turns to minus to bring it inside back, and good, just perfect, right? Okay, so nicely done. So now next thing you want to do is to mask out all this, because we need to change the color of the shirts and its clothes generally. So click on adjustment layer, click on hue and saturation, right? So what you want to do now is, with hue and saturation selected, click on colorize. You can see, and you can see that I have just changed this, but this is not the color I want. So what you want to do next is clip it to the image so it's affecting only the image, and you can see now it's affecting the image. So I can go back there and click saturation, bump it up, and you can copy the position of my hue. So my hue is at 24. Okay, so the next thing you want to do, pay attention please, very very important. What you want to do now is, with your selection tool, hold down Control and click on this to bring out this selection. right? So when you do this, the next thing you want to do is click Ctrl Shift and I to invert the selection like this. Immediately you do that, go back to black and white inside your adjustment layer, right? And the next thing you want to do again is make sure you are clipping it to the image and not the entire artwork, right? So click on create clipping mask like this. Okay, like I said, if you don't get any part clear, you can always rewind and go back and play it again. So the next thing I want to do now going forward is I want to work on the background. So click on the background, click on filter and click on noise and add noise to it. Click on smart objects and you can just copy my settings for this also. Okay, so for the noise, this is the value that I used, so you can use the same thing also, right? So now that that's out of the way, so we have a nice looking effect on the dress and the cloth, and we also have on the body of this cool dude also, right? So select the three of them and mix up the image, and we're just going to rename this layer like this image, right? So great. Okay, so right about now what I want to do is go over to my text tool and throw in some nice text inside of this design, right? So click on it and click to type, and this is the font I'm using, right? This is the font that I'm using. Great. So I'm just going to type this, change the color, double click here to change the color, click OK, and Ctrl T to make it bigger like this. Okay, and I'm just going to put this here, make it slightly bigger like this, and Ctrl J to make a duplicate copy of it, bring this down and double click on thumbnail to make adjustment to it. So I'm just going to type SM. So with this SM, I'm just going to click in between to space it, pressing the space bar, space it up like this, right? So that I have room for the O, right? Because I have different plans for that. Make a duplicate copy of this. I'm just going to move this one aside here. Where'd it go? Okay, so double click on it and on the thumbnail, and what you want to do is just type, the letter O, so I'm just going to type O like this. Nice. And click and drag to this point, right? Because of what I want to use it to do, that's why I'm making it stand alone. So Ctrl T, and I'm just going to rotate it like this, rotate it this way, and while I make it bigger, increasing from the edge, just like this. So what I want to do is select these two layers, and I'm just going to drag it behind the image like this. You can see now it's now behind the image. Alright, great. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is double click on the thumbnail for this, and I'm just going to be selecting only this A, click on the color, and I'm just going to select a color with the eyedropper tool like this, and make it a little bit brighter, then click OK. Right, click out, go back to selection 2. Right, great. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to select this tool and move it in place well. Right, I'm just dragging it about to see where it can be well positioned, right? So I'm going to select this SM, I'm going to make a duplicate copy of it, Ctrl J, and I'm going to bring this down. What I'm going to type is just a letter E, right? Type the letter E, Ctrl T to bring it So that spells the word awesome, right? So I'm just going to flip it slightly, not too much, right? Just slightly, just a little bit, right? So that's awesome. And yeah, so I'm just going to change the color, use this, but I'm going to use a very lighter version of that color, right? Click OK. Nice, great, we're good to go. So I have my text aligned in the places where I want it to be. So I'm just going to go on and type some other things along the top, the side, and both sides. So the font I'm using for this is called Poppins, so you can get it in the resource file of this video also too. Right, so double click on this and I'm just going to type something else with this, and I'm just going to change this to the lighter version. No, click, and I can now change this in peace. So whatever you do, strive for excellence. Alright, so I'm just going to move this in place like this. I'm using my arrow key, left and right, and good. I can choose to bring this down manually now myself, and change this to semi-bold italic, right, just to create a bit of a balance between the strive for and excellence. Typography matters a lot in your designing, right? So I'm going to change the color to white to create a nice blend. So Ctrl T, and I'm just going to rotate this, right, and make a duplicate copy of this and put this here. Yes, so this is the rotated version on this side. So I'm just going to type a different thing here. Always no, that's not the excellence. Okay, so it's this one. So always awesome, right? So I'm just going to leave it here. This one has fallen well in place. You can see we have our nice typography around, our text around. You've got this strive for excellence, always awesome, right? So that's the message here. So select all of this and actually reduce this, make it a little bit smaller, because the whole image and everything seems to be taking over the whole canvas, and we don't want that. So reduce it like this. Okay, so we've come to my best part of this design. So now we're going to use, that's the color code, that's for the orange you have there. So now we want to throw in some lighting to make this design come alive, right? So make sure you're selecting the soft round pressure. Where's the brush? Under general brushes, you're selecting soft round pressure, opacity, and flow. Okay, so make the brush slightly bigger, and I'm just going to increase my flow to 100. and make sure you are at this angle. Apply some lighting. This one is lesser than the other one. Take note of that. Attention to details. So I have these two light source 1 and source 2. So of course, since you have a light source, it will be nice if you have a reflection on this guy here. So what we want to do now to reflect that, like we've done in the previous videos, I'm just going to repeat the same thing here. I'm just going to apply the light effect on him. So how do I get that done? That's the question, my friend. Very, very, very simple. So create a new layer here. You want to clip this mask to the image. So what you want to do is, with the same brush selected, go over to your brush tool, and what you're just going to do is, see I'm making this smaller, change the blend mode to screen, and what you want to do is apply the light effect on these parts like this to create a balanced reflection, right? So you can see how nice this is. If you want to do something, make sure you do it well and you do it perfectly, right? So gently, you don't have to be too harsh. When it comes to applying lighting to images, you need to take your time, and you need to be very, very specific about what you're doing, so you don't mess up the whole image up, right? So consequently, we'll be having tutorials on lighting and dodging and burning, but with time, it's a gradual process. That's why you have to, if you've not subscribed to my channel at this point, I really don't know what you are actually waiting for, right? So you miss all of this, right? So I'm just going to reduce my flow here like this, add a little bit of some of those light effects on these areas like this, add them here on this part. Okay, great. So you can see you have a balanced light effect, right? You can see how easy that was, easy peasy, right? So I can change this to linear dodge add or leave it to screen, but most times I like using screen. Only when I want to make it intense, I use linear dodge add, right? So my light effect on top here, and my image all set and in place. I'm going to make this white. All the text around it is going to be white, so to create a balance. So it's going from white to orange and orange to white. You have a nice blend and mix. So I'm going to click on adjustment layer. I'm going to click on color balance. I'm going to increase, I'm working on the midtones first, so use my settings, right? All these little things actually matters when you are designing. You can see how much difference this is actually making. So I'm going to shift this slider of the red towards the cyan, and of course, for the almighty shadow, I like adding a little bit of blues to my shadows to make it more realistic, right? And before and after, right? And then, oh yes, I missed something. So it's a slight correction I want to make. So what I missed is actually on this part here. So let me zoom close. You can see it's not good. So how do we fix that? Go over to the image and go over to this black and white, right? So what you want to do is, with your brush selected, make it smaller and gradually paint. Make sure your foreground color is set to white and gradually erase this here, just like this. You can see how easy it is when you're working with your mask. You can easily go back and just do what you want to do, like this, and of course on these areas here like this. Then you're good to go, right? So easy peasy, done that way. Alright guys, if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, press the like button and drop your comments so that YouTube will refer this video to other persons right? And don't forget to subscribe, please. Very, very important. I love you all, guys. Thank you.